I see we're live, so I guess at this point I will call the meeting to order at 6:35. Okay. So according to the agenda, let's start with the review of the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I would entertain a motion at this time to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Let's do a roll call. Frank?
Yes.
Dennis?
Yes.
John?
Ooh, look.
He maybe went home.
John going twice. It appears as though John is not with us at the moment. I will vote yes. So John going twice. The minutes are approved as submitted. Okay. Moving on to Brooks Road. Do we have a representative for the Brooks Road?
No.
Okay.
With Brooks Road, it is not a new A&R. It is a correction to the one that they had done previously. And all that is changing, if you're looking at it, Lot 9 is
Yeah.
changing from 1.345 acres from 1.177. So there's a little additional land going to it.
Okay. So we had already approved these, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So they just need just a new vote to
For
accept
that
the
minor
change.
change.
Okay. Board, have any discussions, any thoughts?
Is there a reason for the change, or is it just?
Not that I know of.
There must have been a reason.
As far as I know, the only reason really is either they were looking for more land with it, or that's the only change, is the amount of land.
No. I mean, do we want to go through the checklist again? I mean, it looks like everything's still well within, I mean, they added land to it, so. We
Correct.
approved it previously, so,
I don't think it makes a difference in the checklist.
exactly.
You two.
So, I mean, at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the updated plans as submitted.
So moved.
John's back.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's do roll call. Frank,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
I also vote in the affirmative. So the changes have been accepted. Once again, thank you, gentlemen. So moving on to Templeton Municipal Light. Do we have a representative for Templeton Light?
There we go. Hello, my name is Bill Murray from Places Associates. We're planners, landscape architects, civil engineers, and surveyors out of Littleton, Mass. And I see Mr. Berry from the Light Department is on, but he's muted, so I'll let him introduce himself later, I guess. This proposal is pretty straightforward. See if I can share. There you are. Can anybody see that?
Yes, I can. Everyone else
Plan.
good?
We can.
Yep. Can see it clear as day.
Okay. So the proposal is quite simply adding a little shed addition to the back of the existing building, where the end of the parking lot is currently, we're just pushing it out so we can put the same number of parking spaces back there. Where the end of the building is currently a storage area and it doesn't have a garage door, so they're going to make it into a garage bay. So we have an addition to the building and conversion of that storage area that just has a manway door into a garage bay. This is a new metal prefab building that's going to mimic the little one. It's going to serve the same purpose, but it's going to be a drive-through. Right now, when they have to get transformers and other equipment, they have to get a fork truck in there, and it's double stacked in this small building, and they risk damaging some of the very fragile equipment when they pull it out. So what they're going to be able to do is drive into the building, forklift it in the dry, insecure, and then drive out and deal with whatever they need to do. This building is going in the location of where the existing pole storage is. So this whole area is surrounded by fence with barbed wire and access gates. So the new building will look amazingly similar to this little building, only much bigger. And then these poles are going to go, this is the wooded area that exists that you really can't see from the road. The power lines are back here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use large block retaining walls to create a bin level with the adjacent area. And then it's going to be filled just like the existing storage area with crushed stone. So it's permeable. It's not going to be impervious. Where you see the dark gray, that's the new pavement. We're going to grind the pavement here just so that we can blend it to the new pavement. So that is pretty much the whole exercise. The basin will be enlarged, and we've done drainage calculations. No water comes out of it even during the 100-year storm. So like it was designed when they originally built the building, it's going to function the same way that it did then as in the future. I think it was a week ago Friday, we walked it with the members of the Conservation Commission. There's an isolated wetland that's here. There's a big wetland that's over there. Isolated wetlands don't have a buffer zone under the Wetlands Protection Act, and they agreed with us that it's the work that we're doing is outside of their jurisdiction and regulation. So it's pretty straightforward. We are recharging to the stormwater. We're using country drainage so that we're not creating any new catch basins. And the utilities that are going to, of course, the existing building is fully served with utilities, and those will be extended to the extent that they need to be for the shed. The only utilities that the new building will get is electricity. And because it's going to have vehicles in it, it's going to need a floor drain. And the floor drain is going to connect to the sanitary sewer with a oil gas separator in between. This project has already been put out to bid, and bids have been received. So the award of the contract is going to be based upon when we ultimately get our permits from you. And that is pretty much it. The fencing around the new building, we're going to be replacing gates, but the fencing is going to remain. And other than that, there's very little alteration. It's a pretty small site package overall. They are not bringing on any new employees. That's why we're simply mating or matching the number of parking spaces that they have in the back. And we do show, there's the grading plan. I'm just going to go to some of the architecturals. There's a landscape plan so that we're showing along the back of where we're working. We're going to be replacing with some evergreens. The arborvitae and plants that are there are going to be dug up so that we're going to have to put a little bit more screening in that overall area. If I can't get a pretty picture, that's about as pretty a picture as we get. Here's the existing building. This is currently just a manway door. And then this is the addition. I think that's the big new building that we're getting up top. So not too glamorous, purely functional. The Templeton Light Department needs this to increase their efficiency and operations. Let me get to my little rendered plan. There we go. We are asking for a waiver. We're asking for a waiver of the application fees because this is an application being made by one municipal entity to another municipal entity. And it's about that straightforward. So I did include a detailed project narrative, which I'm quite sure you don't want me to read, but I go through your site plan regulations and I answer all of the questions that are asked: minimize cut and fill, provide adequate access for fire, maximize pedestrian and vehicular safety, minimize glare. There will be lights mounted on this new building, but they will be full cutoff wall packs so that you won't be able to see the luminaire. They'll just shine down. But we need to have lights for safety of operations. We do say that this hopefully will less impact the neighbors because they're going to be pulling the trucks in to get the transformers, and now the poles are located in the back. So currently the poles are located where this building is proposed, and when they have to load up on poles and transformers, they park in this area with the headlights facing that way. And if it's bad weather, then of course the whole area is going to be lit up. In the future, they'll fetch their poles, pull into the building, and they can leave the front door, garage door closed, reducing the impact across the street on the neighbors. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the board?
I have one question. The back area where the wooded area where you're going to be storing the poles in the future, how large an area are you going to be having to remove trees from?
Well, the light department wants to remove all the trees because we've got some tall pines that can reach the overhead wires to the rear. But the actual bin, if you would, is 100 by 36, but they're going to be removing almost all the trees in that area because
Is that more than an acre?
No, the whole project disturbs less than an acre
Okay,
at 39,000 square feet.
it's getting close.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Oh,
Sorry, I was just going to add to that a little bit. This is Tom from the Light Department. Yeah, so there's some fairly large trees in the back there and there. That's where the 69 kV transmission line comes in to feed our substation. So rather than leave the tall trees there, and many of them are pine, which are a threat to the line. So we just assume get rid of them all. Once we put the pole storage in there, it's going to make it that much more difficult to maintain the trees, keep them trimmed back and such. So that's the reason why we'd like to take them all and replace them with some smaller shrub type and evergreens like Bill was saying.
Okay. The reason for my asking was the fact that if you cut more than an acre, you might have to look at stormwater management plan.
We did submit a complete stormwater calculation. It exceeds the requirements of your site plan regulation because you simply refer to the subdivision regulations, but we designed it with the conservation in mind. So we designed it for the 2, 10, 25, and 100-year storm, and by a professional engineer, and that was submitted to you. That basin holds it all. It all flows into the basin, and nothing leaves towards that little vegetated wetland off to the right. So we've got all that. We've got maintenance and operation criteria in there.
Hi, it's John. Quick question for the board and Lori. Are we going to require a peer review of this project?
That's actually up to the board. And there are fees involved with that.
Well, the fees are significant involved in a peer review. That's why I was asking.
Mhm.
What's the board's thought on that?
Well, it's important that we be in compliance, but I guess I hate to see them have to be charged fees too.
mean, personally, on from the plans that I've looked, seen, obviously I'm not an engineer. I mean, everything looks like it's well within reason. So I personally would be okay with not requiring peer review, but there's one vote, so.
Have we required other departments to do peer reviews? Any when they built or expanded the town barn or any of those things? I just don't want to put ourselves in a position.
I hear you.
When the sewer department put that big $2 million pump station, did we require peer review?
I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to actually do some research.
I mean,
That
if
was
I look
before-
at it, if we did require it in one department, we would have to follow suit. I mean, if we start being picky and choosy, we might put ourselves in a bad position.
Right.
Yeah. And the fact that it's a town entity, we want to make sure that it's compliant, but
Well, we
Did
do.
anybody ask any questions on this, Lori, this project?
Hmm?
Any neighbors or anybody concerned on this project?
This is the first time you guys are seeing it. Well, you've had it, but
I mean, that's the only project I can think of that came into town. Can you think of any other projects?
Not since I've been on the board.
I don't remember any either, other than the sewer department.
I have no issue waiving peer review as long as we've done it for other departments. I mean, we're kind of peer reviewing ourselves. I'm not sure if it makes a whole lot of sense. We hired an engineer. Well, when I say we, I mean,
The town.
the town of Templeton or the
Municipal.
municipality hired an engineer to do work for us, and we hire a peer engineer. We're reviewing ourselves, our own engineer. So it doesn't totally make a lot of sense to me from that perspective, but at the same time, all site plan applications that had any type of significant modifications that I can think of in the past few years have required site plan review.
Correct. I do agree with you, though. It is kind of, just double checking our own, obviously in this situation, they're working for the town of Templeton, municipal light. So it's kind of like you said, double checking our own work.
So I guess, so just from my perspective, I'm okay waiving any of the fees as long as it doesn't put us in a position where we could be perceived as giving the town light department a better position than another one.
I agree with you on that one. So I don't know, Frank and Dennis, what are your thoughts?
Well, excuse me. I don't know how extensive the review would have to be in this case, because it's a fairly straightforward plan.
I know, but why? That's the whole thing. It's like, why hire another engineer to
No,
review
I
our own
understand
plan?
that. And I think it's important that we be compliant with whatever the regulations are, so that, because it is a town entity.
Right, but I'm assuming we have the right to waive peer review if we don't see a need for, somebody submits a simple A&R or something like that. Obviously, it's different. I get that, but I feel like we're within our right to be able to waive the peer review on that. And I think ultimately we're hopefully just trying to save the town money by not double dipping on engineering fees.
Frank, what do you think?
Well, I don't want to have it come back. I mean, the plan I look at looks good. I mean, nothing's wrong with that. But I think we're looking for a situation which some of us on the board just come out of a bad situation. And we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Cost us a lot of money. We thought we were right. I don't want to jump into another one this quick. I mean, I think we have to have somebody above us to, are we right or wrong? I'm not against the job. I just don't know if we could, now the next one that comes in from the town, we automatically gonna say no more peer reviews for town projects? We should have that as a bylaw. Don't just do it yes and no for different people. And we're gonna put ourselves against the corner again. In other words, you'll say, if it's for the town, you can do what you want, but the poor private guy is gonna go through the loops. I don't like that.
It's
I think it can bite us in the end.
a very valid point, Frank.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because I agree. A few of us have bad taste left in our mouth.
I don't remember anything happening to you yet.
You haven't got the taste. You get it.
So Lori, so I think, I mean, we obviously don't want to hold anything up. And I do not anticipate us having to do a peer review on this particular project because we hired, it would really be silly to do it. But I just want to make sure we haven't required other departments to do it. If the sewer commission had to do it, like Frank said, or if when we built the town, I think we expanded the highway department a bunch of years ago. I wasn't necessarily on the board then. If we required peer review at any of those places, then we need to be really, really careful of waiving it. Or if we waive it today, we should make a decision to waive them for all town projects in the future.
well, I don't think we want to make a blank policy like that, but
Well, if we don't,
would there
then
be any value in getting some kind of a legal perspective on this?
Another big job was the water tank that they put up in Templeton.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that was
That was a few $1 million. Did we make them do a peer review? I think it'd be worth the time to check on those, or like at least get a lawyer's opinion. Are we legally or not?
I can do that tomorrow.
Is there any way that we can approve this with the stipulation of, I know it's just to try to not hold them up. Is there any way we can improve it with the verbiage that we have to confirm whether or not they need peer review?
That wouldn't gain nothing. You still
well, that would be based on what?
Valid point. Just trying to help the project out.
Well, yeah, I mean, they want to get it out to the bidder.
Right.
So, I mean, holding it up is, again.
Hold it up. She can make a call tomorrow, find out.
No, I know, but then we'd have to wait for another meeting to approve it. Let's see, is there a way we can improve it with a stipulation that we need to, validate whether or not peer review is required? Again, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to do a peer review of our own, the engineer we hired to do it. So I'm okay waiving the fees, but I just don't want to get in trouble from another department or further down the line.
I think Mr. Murray may.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was actually just gonna call on him. Mr. Murray?
I don't know if it helps or not, but my company is the peer review for the town of Hubbardston and the town of Foxborough. And we do specialized peer reviews for other communities for 40Bs and other projects like that. And we have certified that the drainage system design meets the DEP criteria. And we've given you all the zoning criteria. I had a discussion with the building inspector prior to making the application and explained it to him. And the final point is our construction cost is less than $1.5 million. So we really are kind of a small project.
Right. I think ultimately we're not actually questioning the project. I think we all pretty much support the project. I think we're right now all just trying to make sure that all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed.
I understand.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not against the project.
Nope. Again, I think we're probably all ready to approve it. I think right now we're just few of
all
us
it
are a
takes
little-
is one of the neighbors to complain and something not to be compliant and for us to have
yes,
a problem.
a few of us are a little gun shy at the moment.
I kind of got that.
Yes.
Can we
But I'm
delay?
okay. I'm okay voting on it with the stipulation. I'm okay going forward, voting on accepting the site plan application as submitted, with the understanding that if site plan, a peer review is required, that the town capitulate, the municipality, the light company, sorry.
I
That
guess
they agree.
I guess another point is we did ask for the waiver, and maybe your previous municipal projects didn't ask for that waiver in particular.
I think what the normal fees, I think we've encountered situations where we before on things like that. So I think that's something that we have encountered before. I just, the peer review, I don't know if any of us are, in our recollection, if we've encountered that before.
Okay, I'll stop trying.
Oh no, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not a point of the fee. The fee is whatever the application is. That's probably not a very difficult decision to make.
Yeah.
But I would still be okay making a motion to accept it as submitted with the understanding, with waiving peer review, as long as the information that we uncover from Lori's research supports it.
Can we hold off until maybe our next meeting and give Lori a chance to check these things out first?
Well, it just delays a project that, in October, 2 and 3 weeks.
Well,
Are you planning on starting the project immediately?
Tom, do you know when the award date will be?
Tomorrow.
Sorry, what?
Just what Paul said. They were looking to get going. I know there was going to be a conversation with the Light and Water Board about either getting going right off the bat or possibly pushing it off till spring. There's some arguments on both sides of that. But originally they were going to move forward as soon as possible and, get with the intention of getting most of the site work done, before the ground freezes.
There's no building permit at this point in time. Bill, was Richard ready to go with it?
He can't issue his building permit without site plan review.
Right, I understand that, but you had a conversation with him. I didn't know if he had had time to review everything already.
I believe he has an application from the architect already in his hands.
Yes, he does.
So
Okay.
that's as
Well,
much.
you can't start anyways, really.
I'm sorry, what was that, Frank?
I said, well, they can't start anyway. They don't have a building permit, and Richard isn't going to give it to them tomorrow.
Well, they'll give it to them once they have the site plan approval. That
Yeah,
could
but
be
we don't
tomorrow.
know for that.
Well,
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Well, that's what they just mentioned, that they're waiting for us.
Yeah, the architect
I-
has made application.
Right. I mean, like I said, we can
I would,
on a go forward basis waive these fees and waive peer review requirements. I guess where we feel fit. It's a small project, less than $1.5 million.
I'm with you on that, John. I would be okay with approving it with the stipulation that after Lori checks in the next day or two, as long as we're within the means to be able to waive that, then I'm okay with that.
As long as we don't have a requirement somewhere in the bylaws or somewhere.
Yeah.
So then I'm going to make a motion that we accept the site plan as submitted with that contingency.
Do I hear a second on that? Clarification with Robert's Rules of Order. Can I second a motion if I'm the chair? It's been a while since I've studied Robert's rules.
I believe anybody can do a second.
That's correct.
Excellent. Then I will second that motion. Any discussion on that motion?
I still feel more comfortable waiting until Lori has a chance to check it out myself.
And Frank, you're probably in the same boat as Dennis.
Well, I'm thinking the same as Dennis because I hate to vote today for something I don't know what I'm voting on.
My only thought is
I
that
get an answer tomorrow.
my only thought is, well, we can't answer tomorrow because we're not meeting, so we have to wait 2 weeks before we meet again, unless everybody agrees to meet tomorrow after Lori gets the answer. Because typically we don't meet every day.
No.
My only thought is, why are we going to make the town spend money on another engineer that we? It just none of it makes any sense to me. I just want to make sure that we're not legally obligated to do so.
Why do we make a developer pay for a second engineer?
Because they don't have because that's not our engineer.
That's what I'm concerned about. We can't have two standards. I mean, we don't know if this is because of municipal. I mean,
Okay.
maybe exempt on, I don't know though.
I don't know
I'm not a
either,
lawyer.
but I'm willing to vote on waiving it. But I guess there's a motion. We should probably either vote on it, right? Because it's been seconded, Charlie. So you have to. We've discussed it. You have to vote on it. And if it doesn't pass, then we'll just wait until Lori gets the answers.
So unless there's any further discussion, I guess I'll take a vote. John,
Yep. Yes.
Frank,
Well, I would rather vote on it down the road.
you can always abstain, or you can vote no, whichever you prefer.
Maybe I'll abstain then.
Okay. Dennis,
I'm going to abstain at this point.
I guess at this point I will vote yes. Only in the benefit of the town, hopefully to keep things moving and keep things going. So 2 yeas, 2 abstentions. Motion
I
passes.
want to have another
No, wait.
week. How come? I mean, if it means that much. I mean,
2
we
and
got
2, I think, isn't it?
No, it passes. An abstention is not a no.
It was two yeas and 2 abstentions. I mean, again, I'm willing to have another meeting, to discuss this further, but I mean, right now we do have a motion that did pass.
okay.
It passed.
Yeah.
2 yeas, 2 abstentions.
Is that what we're voting on now?
We did.
Oh, we did.
I'm sorry. There was a motion. I'm sorry. There was a motion. It was seconded. We voted. Dennis and Frank abstained. John and Charlie said yes. That motion passes.
Okay, I guess you're right. I never remember that now.
But it passes with the stipulation that we want to verify that that's not a requirement.
Right. So if someplace in our bylaws, it states that, or mass law or whatever, that states that we have to have a peer review on that, they will have to then have a peer review on that.
Right.
That's
Because I'm with Frank on that. Like, I don't want to say, well, the developer has to have a peer review, but the Templeton Light Department doesn't have to. I don't want that to be a conflict. So I'm right with Frank on that, but I think we can pass it with that stipulation, and then we don't have to meet on it again. Lori will verify it, and then we can move on.
Previous town projects and see if any of those had been not required. And in that case, there's no
Exactly.
precedent.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to. That's all.
Thank you.
Was the new school, were they exempt when they built that $24 million thing?
Well, it's a $50 million and they were not exempt.
Okay,
There was peer review on that. You're right. I think it was obviously a larger project.
so that gives you your answer.
Well, Frank, I don't know if we can compare the school.
Well, the size don't matter on a law. If you're big or small, the same law. Still a town project.
And did we have peer review on that project? I remember we have an engineer, but I don't know, and lots of public hearings, but I don't think we had a peer review for that project.
I believe we actually did.
Is it worth having Laurie check with either Adam or about whether or not we should maybe just run it by the lawyer first also? Or is there any reason?
Fine, that's part of the stipulation of the vote to verify that we're not doing that there's no conflicts.
Okay.
We just don't want to have Tom and our engineer come back again in 2 weeks. It just delays the project. And the project looks to me like it's going to be better for the town.
So we're not opposed to the project, we just want it to be in compliance.
Exactly. So that's all we're approving it with the stipulation that we're complying with the laws and our own bylaws and regulations.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Sorry for all the confusion and the muddied waters of that.
If you follow up with Lori tomorrow, she can either say to you, "Oh, guess what? We can't do that," or "Here's your approval."
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Appreciate it.
Okay. Moving on to Phillipston Road, lot number 3. Mr. Druin,
Yo, here I am.
how's it going?
Okay. How you guys doing?
We're doing.
Hope we didn't
Try to
wake
get
you
my
up,
face.
John.
So in your packets, there should have been an email, a copy from Mr. Druin's attorney with regard to the A&R that you denied a few weeks ago.
Yes. Have we heard any update, any clarification?
That's based on what Mr. Druin's attorney stated. It's for your review and for Mr. Druin to discuss.
Has everyone had a chance to read the email? So I will just basically paraphrase. Mr. Druin's attorney is basically telling us that we are allowed to approve, and we should have approved a lot that's an undersized or a non-conforming lot because there's no house on it and it is stamped as not a buildable lot. That
totally goes against everything we do.
I agree with you.
So
I was kind of looking for our town council to weigh in on this.
They would need to, because it's my understanding that when we don't ask if there's a house built on it, if there's a house being built on it, we ask them to put it on the actual drawing if there is a house. But lots of times there aren't houses or drawings; they're just lots of land, and they have to all be compliant.
Right.
So I'm not saying he or he's wrong. I'm just saying we should have our town council weigh in.
Right. I agree with you on that one as well.
Okay.
What's it going to take to get town council to weigh in? Because it's been a few weeks.
I will work on that tomorrow, Al.
Yeah, it shouldn't be something that takes a long, long time. I mean, I'm sure there are many times this has come up. We've never approved one where a non-conforming lot resulted in one of our
But-
A&Rs. Well, when I say we, in the last few years I've been on the board. I don't recall it.
I've been on the board 35 years and we never have.
Okay.
Well, actually, I'm not asking for approval of that lot.
But you
It
can't,
actually says on the plan that it's not a building lot.
Doesn't matter. We're still creating a lot out of that.
you can't create something that you can't create a non-conforming lot from modifying a lot. And a lot is just a fixture of land, not necessarily a building lot. That's just what the rules have been. Now let's just find out and we'll know for sure.
Okay, I mean, I just thought it would be a pretty simple process once the lawyers went in, because my lawyer is saying it's just a matter of fact, it's a matter of law, that this is, this is A&R is completely legal in the plan. He's saying like it's just a matter of fact. Now, I just at a cost, and I just figured, well, we'll let the lawyers weigh in. He says it shouldn't be a problem. But if I have to do something different with the A&R, I mean, I can have the Mylar done over, but that's an expense. I just soon not have.
Yeah,
But
let's
I will
just have
do
them.
it. I will do it if necessary. I
Let's
just don't
just-
think it is necessary.
Yeah, it might not be. Let's just have our town attorney look at it. It should be.
Okay,
It should. Good. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Can I get into the next meeting? Is it a couple? Is it a couple weeks away? Because I've been trying to do this for a little bit. Is it?
Oh, you gotta-
When's the next meeting that you guys are having?
27.
The 27th?
Yeah,
of,
that'd be 2 weeks.
Okay, that'd be great. I could get in the 27th then.
Yeah.
It's
mean-
really just a matter of asking a question.
I mean,
Yeah.
that those words might mean something. And again, do not recall someone putting quotes, as your attorney put it here, not a buildable lot. I don't recall that being on any A&R that I've ever looked at. So if this is what he is saying, we'll have the town council look at it,
Okay,
and then we'll know.
okay.
And
And
you'll
if I
set
need
the
to,
way for the rest of the people.
yeah, and if I need to come in with a different Mylar, I will. They can probably get one because he has all the information. They could do another one in a few days with a little bit of notice before the next meeting.
All you
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
do, Alan, is have 2 acres on it. If you'd had that tonight, would have been approved. I mean,
Right.
you're so close, a couple tenths of an acre. I mean, a couple tenths of land. It's not much
Right.
land.
I would just have to have the Mylar done over, that's all.
Right.
And,
That'd have been the quickest way.
right, well, I just went to the lawyer and he says,
We
no,
told
it's
you
not
that
an
the
issue.
last time. We told you that the last time you were here.
You did. My lawyer didn't agree, that's all.
Well,
I'm just going by the law, not by,
We'll
Yeah.
ask. We'll
we
ask.
go by his opinion.
yeah, well, true.
So yeah,
He's a
so
lawyer.
this week, Lori, if you wouldn't mind reaching out to town council and have them clarify that for us, and then we can move on from
I
there.
And I'll just go on from there, one way or the other.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
And then
for your time.
actually, Lori, once we know, if we can let Mr. Druin know as well, so that whether or not we'll then be able to approve it at the following meeting, or he can update the Mylar. So as of next
Excellent.
meeting, no matter what, hopefully we can get that squared away.
All right.
Okay.
That's all I asked. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you
Okay.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you all. Bye.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay.
Before you gentlemen move on, when Templeton Municipal Light was on, there was a question, and for some reason I can't see it. I'm viewing the meeting on TCTV YouTube. But they were asking if the light project had gone before capital planning. And I don't have the answer to that, but I can find out.
My guess is if it's out to bid, it must have. Things just don't end up out to bid.
And again, I was on capital planning for a couple of years. And again, don't hold me to this. I almost believe that Templeton Municipal Light does not go before capital planning. I don't remember any purchase or anything like that coming before capital planning from Templeton Municipal Light.
Okay, so just so you know, I'm gonna double check on it and get that information out to the person asking the question.
Sure. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So moving on to, looks like, I think that's the end of our,
No, I think we have another issue, Damon Smith.
Damon, are you out there?
You're on mute, bud. There you go.
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right.
hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I just wanted to, come before the board, kind of follow the bylaws that Templeton has. It says in there for a cannabis special permit, I need to come, I guess, before the planning board, kind of go over my application that we're getting ready to turn in, and then kind of we can move forward.
Sounds good. Do we have that plan, or is that something that's going to be coming into us?
I sent it to Lori earlier, so I'm not sure if she sent it to you guys, or I could
Yeah,
show you now.
There were 2 pages that I emailed to you separately that Damon sent me today.
Okay.
right.
I've not seen those as of yet.
All right. I could shoot them over, or could share my screen, or whatever you guys want.
That would be great.
You could share your screen. That would be wonderful.
All right, hold on. Let me get the second one up here. All right. Share screen. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yep.
I can.
All right. So what you're looking at is the Valley Florist at One Valley Drive. And I will zoom in. How's that? A little better?
Sure.
All right. Now I'm on, there we go. Here we go. So basically the Valley Florist is right here. So the building's staying there. And then all the existing greenhouses are staying, except the one greenhouse that's right next to the side of the building. But basically the footprint of the greenhouse is going to be, roughly 86,700 square feet. And that's connecting to a processing area that's about 24,000 square feet. So altogether, it's about 110,000 square feet. And that's all going on that Valley Drive property. Should I zoom back out, or is that good?
See. Okay, so we get the proposed fence going around it, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And then I'm assuming, is this additional parking that's going to be added just to the right of the, yep,
Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah. So that's existing, not existing. That's going to be added.
okay,
And we're going to do this in phases. So we're going to have probably 3 phases. I mean, construction's going to, continue going. But what we'd like to do is, get operational, before the entire greenhouse footprint is built out. Over here is also, additional parking as well. They currently use it as parking. I just don't know if it's on the plans anywhere. The big thing that I wanted to point out is, do you see this temporary 16,000 gallon wastewater tank over by the processing area?
Yep.
So we're going to start with that for our bathrooms and our wastewater from the facility. Instead of putting in a septic system, our plan is to put, Valley Florist right now and the house in front are all on septic. So our plan is to go to the sewer plant across the street. But what we'd like to do is start with just a temporary holding tank. We'll get up and running. And then while we're up and running, we'll dig across the street. And then we're almost into an agreement with Scott's Garage to go across their property there with our line. So that will take care of, our sewer. And then for water, there's currently there's 2 wells currently on the property. We might end up having to put in a well temporarily for us. but we will be connecting, or the plan is to connect to the water over by, I guess, the sewer plant as well. So eventually we'll be on, municipal water and municipal sewer. So we kind of are skipping the septic system. And then, like I said, we're gonna bring the Valley Florist off of their septic, and then the house at 248 Gardner, which is in front, down here, we're eventually gonna bring them off of their septic and bring them over to the sewer system as well.
Is that 16,000 gallon wastewater tank already there? Or is
No, it's basically just, it's a rental. So we actually, we do that in Royalston, believe it or not. Instead, we have a septic for our bathrooms. We're building a greenhouse there as well.
if it's above ground, it makes it a lot easier?
Oh, yeah, no, it's like a roll on, roll off. It's just a rental unit. So they're just that's why it's right in the middle of the parking lot. It's temporary. So that parking lot obviously doesn't function when we have the temporary wastewater holding tank there. But the way that we are looking at this is, we're not going to start with 120,000 square feet when we get operational. So by the time we're operational or big enough to need the extra parking, we would be connected to the sewer plant across the street by then.
So, Lori, that is not something that we would approve. That would obviously go through DEP.
Correct.
Okay. And is that something they would make you put into like a concrete bed to make sure that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like an oil tank almost?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. And did you have any problem getting approval in Phillipston for that?
From Royalston? No,
Royalston, no.
It's required. So believe it or not, it's crazy. If we were growing tomatoes, our wastewater in Royalston could just go right into the ground. But because we're growing on concrete, for some reason, our wastewater has to go into either, a sewer plant or gets pumped out and sent to a sewer plant. It's kind of a double standard, but for some reason, marijuana is held to a different standard. But yeah,
Okay.
no, it's just a roll in. You don't have to, in Royalston at least, we don't have to put it on, like a concrete slab or anything. It's a double walled system.
Concrete or plastic?
No, I'm saying the water tank is double. It's a double.
Yeah,
double
but is it concrete, plastic, or metal?
Oh, it's metal.
Metal. Okay.
Yeah, these things are pretty massive. It's I think they're 30 feet long. It looks like a trailer.
Now, the additional parking, is that for employees?
Yeah. So we're closed to the public.
Yep.
So yeah, it's all employees.
Will there be a separation between the Valley Florist parking and your parking, or?
Well, this is the Valley Florist right here in front, which they already have. And so basically this little parking lot, we'll go through, for our employees, and then we'll park back here.
All right. One other question also, running through the middle of this plan is a dotted line. What is that?
All right. This line up here at the top?
No, the one in, where it says the greenhouse area?
Okay. Oh, right here.
No, above that.
Here.
Yes.
Oh, that's an existing cart path. So there's, people have been out there for a while. So there's carts, they got trails all throughout here. So that's
not a right of way of anything, or?
No, it's just, just trails for dirt bikes, I think.
Okay.
So quick question, is this just for our, so we can start seeing what the plan is going to be submitted, or are you looking for?
Yeah, there's one section of the Templeton bylaws that says before a marijuana business can put in their special permit, they have, all these things you have to do.
Yep.
One of them is come before the special granting authority. I forget how that goes, but apparently the planning board is it. And it says basically, I just need to come before you guys, show you the plans, and kind of just go over our plans before we actually submit our application.
Okay.
So
we're going to be having, obviously this is going to be submitted formally and then a whole process going through.
Yeah. So we have to submit it, and then there's that whole, then we hold a real public meeting. Not that tonight's not a public meeting,
No, exactly. Just it's
Yeah,
going to be.
people get to come and yell at me. This is what happens. But yeah, no, we're going to follow the special permit process that you have in town. I saw that it was requiring, I think, 6 different site plans. Some of this, like my utility, is just that wastewater tank. And there's also the elevations on this plan as well. So some of this we've combined into one. And I can show you, let's see, stop share. Coming back to you, share screen. Locus Plan, share. Ta-da. So this is the Locust Plan. So this is another plan that we can show. And, this is the Valley Florist. This is the land. The last time we came in front of you, we took these 13 or 14 acres and combined them. So that's all combined under the Valley Florist. And then we're going to run our septic or our sewer line right across here.
When Damon talks about sewer, it's not with Templeton, it would be with Gardner.
Yeah. Well, I think Templeton might charge me. I don't know. I forget. We made some progress. I have to look at my notes. But I think Templeton might be the one to charge me. But we go to, the Gardner plant.
All of these
I'm not sure.
Gardner.
I guess we'll cross that road when we get there. But that was kind of was our best idea for the amount of waste that we'll have. And it's not bad waste. It's if I was growing tomatoes and wasn't on concrete, everything that we're using could legally for agriculture go into the ground. But once marijuana is involved, it's just a different standard. So it is what it is.
Have you talked to the DEP yet on this?
So we are going in front of Templeton Conservation next Tuesday night. Now, is it next, where am I? No, next Monday night. Tuesday's Phillipston. So yeah, next Monday night, we're in front of Templeton Conservation. And we just filed our NOI, last week. So, Conservation came out and walked it, and I'll actually bring you back to the other one. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. Share screen. Share. We're having professional difficulties over here. Hold on, I'm trying to get back to my screen. Here we go. Valley Drive. All right. Yeah, so basically we had Conservation came and they walked out all the way to the cart path, which is up here. And it's flat, and they basically agreed to all the wetland marks. I won't speak for them. But it seemed like, as long as we did what, they had told my wetlands guy when we were out there that we should be fine. So they've got a no-go in this 100-foot from the river. So we didn't go in there at all. It's flat though. We can probably make a good case to do it. And then this is the 100 to 200 feet. So that's where we're looking for Conservation's blessing. You'll notice over by the processing area, within that 100 to 200 feet, we don't have that in the checkered box because that's a redevelopment. We're taking the back 3 buildings that are sitting on pavement. We're taking those down and replacing them with the processing area. So we don't think there'll be any pushback there. And, it's really what Conservation has to say for, this area. And they walked it with us. There's nothing that, we're going to harm by going in there. So we'll wait to see what they say, and we'll have to go from there.
Okay, sounds good. Does the board have any other additional questions this time? Okay.
Nope.
So I guess at this point, we will look forward to seeing the official plan submitted.
All right, we're getting there. It's taking us forever, so sorry about the wait.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, all right. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, David. Have a great night.
You too.
Okay, board members. Do we have any new business?
Don't see any.
So, Lori, anything good? What's
No, that was enough.
that? Okay. That's always fun. So I guess at this point, we'll wait for clarification on Templeton Municipal Light and as well as Mr. Drummond. Yeah, awesome. And besides that, everyone, thank you very much.
Have a
Entertain
good night.
motion to adjourn.
I'm so moved.
Motion we adjourn.
Excellent, sounds
So
good. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.